Hello arcade gamers, and welcome back to BiggyD's Arcade. Today we're going to do my 20-second chill and chat. I've got some pretty good news lined up for today's show. Not much arcade 1-up related, mostly going to be iiRcade, which has been kind of the case the last few weeks. And something I wanted to mention early on, and right when I started this stream, was that I am noticing arcade 1-up. They still have a place in this community. They still have a place in our homes, right? But I'm seeing less and less. I'm seeing more of a shift, and people are going one of two ways. They're either going in the direction of getting real arcades or real pinball machines, or they're going towards a more manageable, less investment into multi-cades, which is going to be like your At Games Legends Ultimates and your iiRcade. So it's really just there's two roads, one left, one right. It's either people are going more towards the full size or they're going towards the smaller, more manageable multi-cades. So if you guys are out there and you're listening tonight, let me know what you're feeling. Or are you still 100% arcade 1-up? Are you a true fan? You're never, true fan till you die. You're never going to change no matter what they do or what products they put out. Let us know. And that's kind of something I wanted to start the show with. And I also want to say hi to everyone. I had Papa Brad's chat here up on the screen because I thought it was a good one. Let's get me to 1,000. I'm pretty close. I'm at 866. And I'm hoping to continue that growth and get to 1,000. That could mean bigger and better things for this channel and a better experience for you guys out there that are watching. So if you're not already subscribed, definitely do so then you can chat and put in your comments and let everyone know what you think. But let's say hi to everyone. Carl O is in the chat. Good to see you, Carl. I'm glad you made it. Brooklyn Menace, good to see you. Your Friday night arcade show was terrific. I had a really good time on Friday, and I heard you're going to be on Michael B's show tomorrow, so that's a huge opportunity. So congratulations on that. And John Phillips has joined us. Good to see you, John Phillips. Glad you've made it. Salute to you as well, sir. And let's see if anyone else. Okay, Raven SPE has made it as well. He said Happy Mother's Day. So my mother is in Dallas. I didn't get to see her today, but I did give her a call, and she's with their mother, or her mother, my grandmother, today, spending the day with them. And I'm also going to get to see my mom here in about a week and a half. They're going to be driving through Flagstaff, which is about a 2-hour drive north of here where I live. And I'm going to drive up there and meet them and stay a night in Flagstaff. Since I've moved to Arizona, I haven't been up north yet, but supposedly they got pine trees and snow and really big mountains. So, and cooler weather, of course, which I'm really looking forward to. And Papa Brad said he's on Michael B as well. So it's going to be Brooklyn and Papa Brad this Monday. And I think B Kongs, Kongs Are Us will be on there. And I'm not sure who else. John Phillips said, I got a homemade pedestal style multi-cade in the dining room area. So he's already got his multi-cade going. I know many other people have. I'm on the path to, multi-cades and less arcade 1-up, just because the room limitations I have. Also, I can't constantly be buying arcade 1-ups. They come out with a new product every so often. I can't always be buying the new product. And just having that multi-cade is nice because I can play a lot of those games that are going to be released by arcade 1-up on it. And it's natural. And I think also with less arcade 1-ups coming out, there's less enthusiasm for them. So this is all kind of natural for, I think, the whole community and all the fans out there. Goofyfoot's joined us. I haven't bought anything since The Simpsons. I ended up modding it with the Pi. I'm pretty much done. And right now I'm on a hold. I'm not completely done with them. I probably will purchase another one in the future. Who knows when that'll be. But it'll probably be sometime, and it'll have to be something super impressive for me to want to get one. I'm really happy with my multi-cade arcade 1-up, with my Raspberry Pi, my NBA Jam, my Final Fight, my Miss Pac-Man. I probably will keep those. And that's enough for me. And then I spend majority of my time playing my At Games Legends and going through the coin ops and all the different games, and then trying to get a light gun build on it. And then when the light gun games come to iiRcade, I'm going to have my hands full. I'm not going to have time for an Arcade 1-Up. And Papa Brad's Gaming says, same Goofy. Arcade 1-Up needs to impress me to open the wallet again. I'm waiting for a deal on Mortal Kombat Deluxe, though. And that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Papa Brad, because I'm still in the market for deals. I have a really hard time not pulling the trigger on really good deals. I don't want to miss out on those. And I also feel like if I don't like it, at least I didn't spend a ton of money on it. So that, you know, Mortal Kombat Deluxe, any of these deluxe cabinets, Black Friday are probably going to be really good deals. Raven SPE said, me too, Goofy. I'm just waiting for the ALP 4K. Raven, I am too. I can't wait to see that. I think we're going to see it in September. And I'm already kind of planning out, you know, what's my credit line looking like so I can get one. And it'll probably take me forever to pay it off. But I wanted to start here, guys, with Double Dragon. So Double Dragon's kind of been the head of the news table this week. It's been quite a shock because a lot of people had Double Dragon missing off their iiRcades this week. People that were getting their iiRcades for the first time didn't have Double Dragon. But it's kind of weird. Some people have it, some people don't. I have Double Dragon. I should have loaded it up tonight since I'm talking about it. But I do have it on mine, and I'm still able to play it. I never purchased Double Dragon 2 or Double Dragon 3, so I shouldn't have any problems with the first one. I already have it on there. Doesn't look like I can buy 2 or 3 right now. But Bozo Calvin's joined us. Good to see you, Bozo Calvin Jr. I heard something happened with your Fast and the Furious shipment. Got mixed up, and I think last I heard you didn't get them. You canceled the order, so you'll have to let us know if you got them or not. But I think you canceled, if I was right. But so on Double Dragon, we actually got a company response this week through Facebook, so I want to bring that up. And here it is, and this is John Wook Shin. He is the CEO of iiRcade, and he has made a actual response to us to let us know what's going on. This is good communication, and it was quick. It happened quickly, so I'm happy for that. GG has joined us. Good to see you. Happy you made it. And Darren Keynes made it as well. Good to see you, Darren. Glad you made it. And so let's see here what Jong had to say. He says, regarding Double Dragon, hello, everyone. Regarding Double Dragon 1, 2, and 3 specifically, the contract term has expired, and we are discussing a renewal. During this time, the games were pulled for new purchases only. If you have already purchased the game, they stay with you, so don't worry. And I think I've seen cases out there where people have purchased, but they don't have the game. Or they're getting their iiRcade for the first time this week, and it's missing the game. The one that's supposed to be free, which is the first Double Dragon. So we'll have to see what everyone in the chat says and see if there's anyone out there missing the game after purchasing it prior to this. They should be in your device, or you can also re-download them at My Games library in your online store account. Also, for those who just bought or are getting Retromania wrestling units that are on sale, Double Dragon will be there as preloaded games, so don't worry, nothing's changed. So where I'm hearing reports of people not having the game are on like Facebook and Reddit. But I did watch a review this week by Toxin. He had just purchased his iiRcade, received it this week, and he had it on his Retromania, the first Double Dragon. So from the video evidence I've seen and the people that have, you know, put video content online, they do have it. But I am hearing reports on Facebook, Reddit, where they don't. So it's kind of a lot going on with this, a lot of confusion, and we got a little bit of clarity here with this communication through Jong, which was helpful to know exactly what's going on. I've also heard reports of people having problems with their dead cells after the downloadable content. Once they go to download the DLC, they're having problems loading up dead cells, and I've seen a couple of reports online of that as well. So it looks like they're handling a couple of different issues right now in regards to Double Dragon and with Dead Cells DLC content. But let's see here what Papa Brad had to say. He's probably one of the biggest fans of iiRcade I know. He said, nice picture. They should have told us a week before they pulled Double Dragon 2 and 3 for the people who wanted to get them. I like Comba Tribes a lot more than Double Dragon 2 or 3. So yeah, that would have been nice to get some notice. If they knew it was expiring and they weren't going to be able to renew that contract in time, they should have given us a little bit of notice, I think. But at least they're communicating out as quick as they can, right? You know, with this post. He said, I would not stress over Double Dragon. I'm not. I have it, so I'm happy that I still have it. Bozo said, my Double Dragon is still on his, and he ordered the second, not part 3. I heard part 3 is not that great. I actually like Double Dragon 2 a lot more than 1, though. Gamer Price, he said, I'm glad to see iiRcade is being transparent. Yeah, they're not, you know, keeping anything from us. They're definitely letting us know exactly what's happened, so we can get a better picture and idea of what's going on. But it looks like they're trying to get it worked out, and they're obviously confident they're going to be able to get this contract back because they're discussing a renewal. So hopefully that'll happen quick. Because this is a big-time franchise. It's a big-time recognizable game. You definitely don't want to lose those. So for new purchasers, you could get this $2.99 Retro Mania. It was supposedly supposed to end on May the 9th, but I'd noticed today they're still running the same deal. So they must be really happy with the amount of orders they've been getting, and they see it as we can lose a little bit of money on the console or the arcade cabinet because we're going to make that money back when people purchase the games. And they must be seeing that these new customers of theirs are purchasing games because they're continuing to extend this sell while they're probably losing money on the initial sell of the cabinet. So if you guys are interested in getting one, they're still online at $2.99 plus shipping. It's $100 shipping, but you could go through Best Buy. I know Steps Gaming, she has gotten hers for $2.99 through Best Buy, no shipping at all. So definitely try their chat or try calling the customer service and just seeing if they'll match it. And if they decline you, they say no, go back to them the next day, try again. Don't give up because they'll eventually, you'll get the right person and they'll do it and they'll match it. And just because one person says no doesn't mean the next person won't say yes. And then Gigi said here, he goes, I wonder if iiRcade lost any more games that we did not notice. And I don't believe that's the case. I don't think we've lost any others. And also, I think Jung would have let us know that that would have happened. But I could be wrong. If you guys know of any games out there that are missing that we don't know about, let us know. Get the word out. Raven, I like that cab. It's a great cabinet. I think a lot of people had the very first iiRcade, the Gen 1 before Retromania, and weren't happy with it. I think some of those people may be happy with the Retromania. It's got better controls, it's got better artwork, and it also comes with a pretty high dollar game. Carlo said, yeah, I don't like they pulled these games before I got the cabinet. They should have waited a week or two till the new shipments arrived at customers' homes. Yeah, and hopefully we don't have any problems, you know, with the new customers not getting the full free game lineup, including Double Dragon. And Bozo Calvin Jr. said, did you see my comment on Fast and the Furious? Just added some slip on gas and brake pedals. So let me see, did I miss that? Bozo Calvin, I'm not sure if I saw your previous chat in here. But it sounds like you still have Fast and the Furious. You did receive it. And you've added these gas and brake pedals. So you've upgraded those pedals. So I've heard a lot of people out there doing that or being unhappy with the pedals that came with it. So that's going to be a popular upgrade. And then Raven said here, he goes, in the past, people made accounts before getting their cabs to take advantage of the sales. And Bobby Broadway, good to see you, Bobby. He said, I do want to see a 720 skin on one of these 1.0 iiRcades. So yeah, the 720 is a good game and probably has really good artwork that would be something a lot of people would be interested in. Who knows what we're going to see next? No one really knows what's going on with these cabinets and what we're going to see next as far as new artwork, new skins. So the next thing I want to talk about here, guys, is going to be Glen's control panel. So this thing is a full-on control panel with high quality buttons, sticks, spinners, trackball, volcano buttons, and the ability to have a USB input so we can play send-in light gun games. This was initially announced on game days This was back on the 5th of this month, so almost 10 days ago. And he said pre-orders were going to start anywhere between the 8th and 12th, which was last week. He predicted we would get pre-orders started last week. However, that did not happen. Pre-orders are still not available. So I had some predictions and some just ideas on what I think's going on and what's happening with this that I wanted to share with everyone. So let's bring that up here on the screen. So these are just predictions on Glen's control panel. And by no means is this like inside information that I have or something that you guys should, just take this stuff with a grain of salt. This is just a prediction. This is not factual, 100% confirmed information. So pre-orders will start next week. That's my belief that they're going to start next week because they were supposed to start last week and they didn't. So, that's the most logical conclusion, that they're going to try and get them out this week, hopefully. Price is going to be anywhere from $250 to $300, I believe. I've been hoping less than $200, but I did watch Glen's live stream on Friday. And I don't think we're going to be at 200. I think it's going to be anywhere from 250 to 300. And will I pay that? Possibly. My sweet spot was 200. So if it's only $50 more, I'll likely do it. But if it's $100 more, it'll have to be some more thought put into it. But I'll probably do it anyways, because what's the alternative? No light guns, no trackball, no spinner. Those are things that I'm going to really want. So I'll probably end up forking out the $300. And possibly as well is it could, and I saw here Goofy said it could be under 200, and it very well could, but another possibility could be starts out at 250, 300 with the pre-orders because it's a new product. And then later in the year, as the demand, comes back to normal because everyone's got one, he lowers the price down to 200. That, could happen as well. Bobby Broadway said, I know Glen's rotary stick is coming out soon. I definitely get this and mod it later with 2 of those. And Carl O's saying $199 as well. Papa Brad said he thinks 250 to 300 is good. Less than 250 is an instant buy. Absolutely. 200 is perfect for what you're getting. GG, man, that's like 400 Canadian for me. So that's something he'll have to think about. That in Canada, it's a little bit higher price. So let's take a look here. This is Glen's video. So I put here as well these 2 other things. Control panel, and before I get into this video, I want to explain this control panel. So this is my belief. So he said that there's something up his sleeve as far as the spinners. He's got something that he has not disclosed yet, which is a big feature, a very nice feature, something he's really excited about, and it's all in regards to these spinners. I've heard people speculate out there that he believes that these spinners could be up front, like towards the front of the game deck, kind of like you have on your ALU. I've heard that out there. But my prediction and my belief of what's happening is that this is going to be a switchable control deck where you can literally take it off, just unscrew the screws on the sides, take it off, turn it around, plug it in the exact same way, but opposite 180 degrees, where your spinners are going to be sticking out towards you. Also, your volcano buttons would be more accessible as well in that position. So that's what I think is going to happen. Now, I don't have any inside information. This is totally me just going out on a limb, just predicting this information because I think it's logical and it makes sense. That would be an easy way to access those spinners without having to make any other changes to the control panel. Just make it flippable or switchable where you can turn it around 180 degrees and have those spinners facing towards you. And then if you're done with your spinner games, you just turn it back around or put it in whatever position you play the games most. And Goofy said, I bet the joysticks have a quick release. And Papa Brad's Gaming says the gate switchers are great. I use them now. So does Goofyfoot. And you're talking about the 8-way, 4-way gate switchers, which I didn't mention, which is really good for certain types of games that play better with a 4-way stick as opposed to an 8-way. So yeah, that's going to be a really good feature as well that I didn't include. Now this last prediction, this is going to be a bundled option with Glen's guns. So if you haven't heard yet, Glen is also, he hasn't just partnered with iiRcade, he's also partnered with the Sinden light gun company, the Sinden company that makes the guns that we're using for this, iiRcade, Operation Wolf and Operation Thunderbolt. He has partnered with them to create his own gun, which is a bigger gun, a heavier gun, one that you can easily have two hands on, and just probably more comfortable, more in line with what you would experience on like your buck hunter or your big buck hunter cabinets. So this is something, if you're wanting more of like a rifle stock on your gun as opposed to a handgun, your hand gets tired maybe holding that up, and you want something in your shoulder that you can hold it up with two hands, make it a little more comfortable, make it feel a little more realistic. Glen's on top of this. He's already been working on this behind the scenes, and we got a preview of it on Friday during his live stream. So let's take a look at that. And his camera work was pretty bad, guys. So forewarned, you're not going to get a great look at it, but you are going to see it in this video. But this is what it looks like. It kind of looks like a shotgun from the buck hunter to me. But he'll get his camera right. And there's the stock there for your shoulder. And it's got the cord running down there from the handle. And then you got your D-pad there right above your trigger. And I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to cock that like you do with the buck hunter, or if that's just a handle on the barrel. But I think it looks really good. And if I had to choose between the handgun and this, I would probably get this, but I'll likely end up getting both. I'll get one handgun and one shotgun, so I can get a couple of different experiences, and also be supporting Glen, because ultimately I want to support him rather than a company overseas if I can. Maybe I get two of the shotguns though. We'll see what the prices are, but I do believe he's going to have a bundle. And that may quite be what's holding up these pre-orders, is he's already got a bundle available or ready to go that he wants to sell with this, where you can maybe get the control panel on one gun, or maybe an option of getting a control panel on two guns and save a little bit of money. And also probably get your guns faster, because if they're not shipping overseas, you possibly could get them faster through him. Let's see what everyone here has to say. Bobby's saying bags galore. He might be referring to all the bags in the background of his work area there. And Raven says, just copying you, Brad. I like the spot you put them. They accent the bottom at. And Goofyfoot says the boomstick. Is that what he's going to call it? The boomstick? I haven't heard, or maybe I missed what he's going to actually call this thing. I'm going to put this on loop too, so we can go through some comments here. All right. And let's see here. Bobby Broadway said Elmer Fudd gun. He likes it. He's saying sweet. Papa Brad says Glen's guns all are using the same Sinden parts from what he said. Yes, that's a really good point, Papa Brad. I'm glad you brought that up. This is Sinden technology. So the same parts that are in your Sinden handgun are also going to be in this Sinden shotgun, or Glen's shotgun. Same technology. It should perform the exact same. And there you can see the camera system there on the outside of the barrel. And Bozo's liking it. He's saying nice. And Bobby Broadway says this totally the Looney Tunes gun. I love it. And Papa Brad saying top quality. And Goofyfoot saying that's what he better call it. Yeah, I don't know if we have a name for it yet. I did hear as well some people ask him, are you going to make an option that doesn't have the shoulder area, and it's just more of like a T2 type shotgun where it's just a handle? That's another thing. And he said that he would consider it, but I don't think we'll be getting anything like that starting out. It's probably going to look identical to what you're seeing here in this video when it releases. And Darren Kane, he says, the way I look at it, 200 versus 250, if you get 12 to 24 months of enjoyment out of it, what's another few bucks? A month to spend over that time, no big deal. Yeah, when you look at it that way, if you're going to enjoy this thing for a year or two, and all you're having to fork out is a couple $100, maybe $250. It's really not that much in the big scheme of things. All the enjoyment and entertainment you're getting out of it, and just also being able to enjoy that with the community, and compare your scores and your leaderboard scores with each other. And when people are enjoying it, you can also put in your 2 cents and what you enjoy about it when you own it. And Bobby Broadway says, my misspelling, tunes instead of tunes. Yeah, so that is a common mistake when people are spelling Looney Tunes. Some people think it's actually T-U-N-E-S, but in fact, it's T-O-O-N-S. But you would think, your mind tricks you into thinking that it's tunes, T-U-N-E-S. So let's get out of iiRcade and Glen's Guns. I'm really looking forward to this stuff. I'll probably... And as soon as this stuff goes on pre-order, I'll probably make a video or hop on a live stream to talk about it whenever we get a finalized price and we can actually order these things. But just like I went out day one pretty much and bought Zelda, this is another thing where I'm going to pay full price and get it on day one. And there's not a lot of things that I do that with. I'm pretty picky on what I go out and buy early on, and I don't like paying full price. So that speaks volumes for Glen and the quality and what he's come up with. So the next thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about Arcade 1-Up. So we've got one cabinet this year, one new release, and that's the Fast and the Furious. We haven't seen any other releases, no teases, nothing as far as what's coming. So it could be quite some time before we get a new release from Arcade 1-Up. In fact, I've heard about a month or two ago, Michael B say that we may be getting a new release in June or July, I believe he said. But he's since kind of backtracked from that. I haven't heard him say anything like that lately. I think even during Super Game Room Dudes this last Friday when we started talking about, or they started talking about future Arcade 1-Up cabinets, he really didn't have any information at all. So it could be a while. We could be in a waiting period before we see anything new from Arcade 1-Up. And that's likely due to, all the money, all the time that they put into Fast and the Furious, and then the subpar response that they've been getting on it. Some people like it, but majority out there have a lot of complaints, and they, cut a lot of corners, and there were a lot of things missed. And I think that's going to play a part in, how long it is going to be before we see another cabinet. So let's take a look. And I've got a prediction on what I think is going to be the next cabinet. And I've also got a prediction on when I think that will be. And I think you guys probably know this from my video on Time Crisis. I think Time Crisis is going to be our next release. It's probably not going to look anything like this cabinet. It'll probably be a complete redesign. But I think we're going to be seeing this cabinet in November. So right around before Black Friday, 2 or 3 weeks before Black Friday, you'll probably start seeing these in stores. And we may or may not get something leading up to that. We may get a one update or a arcade live stream of some sort where they give us some information ahead of time. But I do think November is the date. That's going to be the time we see Time Crisis. Now these are really probably going to be the only 2 new releases we see this year are going to be the Fast and the Furious and the Time Crisis. I don't really see anything else for 2023. But let's see what everyone else has to say out there. Ritual Delos joined us. He says, hey, Biggie. Good to see you, Ritual Dello. Glad you made it. Gamer Price says Fast and the Furious is a disaster, if you ask me. Many people are saying that. It is a complete disaster. If you watch 19K Fox's video, he was pretty harsh on it, I would say. I mean, he was saying how it wasn't the greatest cabinet. He wasn't impressed with it at all. He didn't think it was worth the money, and I think he went as far as saying he's going to sell the second one that he purchased just to get it out of the house. So, and I even followed up with that with another video where he had done it with a hardwire. It had run a little bit better, but then he's still pretty negative on it. He's not very happy with it overall. There are a few out there, and I watched Michael B's video today where there are people in the community that are happy with theirs. I think PD7's happy with his. Cornercade is happy with his. So they don't necessarily have to hit a home run for some people to be happy. But I think if you want to maximize your profits and you want to grow as a company, You're not going to just make a small majority or a small minority happy. You got to make everyone happy. And you got to make it a, win for the company. You want to hear positive things. You want to see good reviews, and we're not seeing a lot of those. Papa Brad's Gaming says they're fighting above their weight class. Yeah, I heard Michael B say that today. Punching above their weight class, they definitely are. They need to focus on what they do best, which are going to be like your 80s or your 90s games that can run on their hardware. Until they source this new chip, which they've talked about, they need to focus on what they can do well, and that's what's going to make them successful in the meantime. Rich Della says, Papa Brad, they need to stop with the ports. Yeah, if they could just give us actual, authentic, arcade, accurate games as opposed to these ports, I think that'll go a long way. People are looking for nostalgia feelings when they play these games, and those ports aren't giving them that. And Raven says, why do they cut so many corners? And that's a good question. We really don't know exactly why they do this, and they seem to do it on every cabinet, and it seemed to have gotten worse recently in the last 6 months or so. They seem to do it more often since MVC2, Blitz, now Fast and the Furious. They just seem to be saying, well, we can get away with it maybe. Maybe they're happy with the amount of sales they're getting. Maybe they are growing and they're making more money than we know about, and they're okay with their final product, but we aren't. Papa Brad says, Time Crisis is hideous. Yeah, if you're talking about this picture, it is. It's not a very good looking cabinet. This is all we have to reference or refer to when talking about Time Crisis, but I do think it'll look completely different than this. And Bozo Calvin said, but I got both Fast and the Furious cabs for $750 due to delays, and they discounted the second cab to half off. So you got a really good deal, Bozo, at $750. That's almost half of what people are paying for two right now. So I would say you got a deal, and you should be. You may be happy with $750. I would have to consider that if someone was to sell me two for that price. And would I buy it? I might. It would probably have to get down to about 600 though for me to do it. Mickey said, you're talking about fanatics trying to grow their channel, say Fast and the Furious is fun. That's all they can say about it. Yeah, and I did watch Rexer's stream last night, Mickey, and I had a comment in there, forced positivity. There's a lot of people in the community that follow Arcade1Up or make content for Arcade1Up, and they literally are forcing it, that you can just tell that their positivity is not real. It's really just, it's not authentic. It's just to create views and hype and FOMO to try to convince us to go out there and buy these cabinets that we know aren't worth the money. We've learned our lesson in this community. We've bought enough cabinets to know what are we looking for and what do we want. And in these streams and a lot of these ultra positive streams on Arcade1Up aren't going to convince us anymore to run out and buy these things and to pay full price. Carl O said exactly, Papa Brad. DMAC admits they can't make a pro cabinet. Go back to the 80s games. You can't do online. The fighting games are half-assed. I think Street Fighter, they did do good with Street Fighter. So I'll give them that. I saw Steps Gaming doing a Street Fighter tournament tonight. Seemed like it was going very well. So they do have that in their bag. They did do that well, and I will give them credit. So I do think possibility, it won't be a new release, but a re-release would be a Street Fighter Pro cabinet. We could see that before Christmas. And that's because that is something they can hang their hat on that they did well. And so this is the next slide I had here, and this is back to the 80s. Possible cabinets that we could see before Christmas. Some of these are new releases that I have predictions on, and some of these are going to be re-releases. Some will be new releases, like this Robotron 2084. We haven't gotten that on an arcade cabinet yet, and I do believe with the amount of like Michael B and the other fans out there, the amount of talk and predictions and people predicting that Robotron is coming, I think that's going to be number one possible before Christmas 80s cabinet. And this is one way that they can kind of finish out the year strong, is they can listen to the community. They can go out and they can buy or they can go out and they can make these cabinets from the 80s, make us happy, give us what we want, and it's not going to take a lot of development or time or negotiations on licensing, because some of these they already have a license on, or they could probably get one. And I think Robotron 2084 is at the top of my list of possible cabinets before Christmas. Now, my second 80s cabinet, and I've talked about this at length, is Qbert. I think Qbert could definitely be one. They do have the license for it, and we could possibly see it before Christmas. Now, some of the things that I think we still have to think about and some hurdles that they're going to have are going to be like your knocker. They definitely don't want to cut those corners with everything that they've done lately. They want to make sure they include a knocker with Qbert. And then that one would be second. So third, I would say Missile Command. Now, this would be a re-release. It would be easy for them to do, I think. And Missile Command is probably likely to be before Christmas. And then my fourth and final, which they already have a license for and we've already seen on previous cabinets, is going to be Crystal Castles. So I'm a huge fan of Crystal Castles. I've been playing it on my ALU. It's a really fun game. It's a family game. You could, even like children would probably enjoy this game. It's a bear who's collecting jewels and honey, and it's just an overall fun family game, friendly game. So I think that would be my fourth and final prediction of possible cabinets back to the 80s before Christmas, because these are things that they can get done. They can get done quickly. They can satisfy the community. They can satisfy the fan base by just going back to doing simple things that they know will sell, that they know people will buy. And I've seen a lot of comments come in here, so I'm going to go ahead and read through these real quick and bring them up on the screen. And if you guys have any other possible 80s cabinets that you would like to see, or you think that are possible to come out before the end of this year, put them in the chat so I can bring them up for you guys. So Bozo Calvin said he's very happy with his senior discount on his Fast and the Furious. And Zohar, he's joined us. He goes, I joke a lot about iiRcade doing poorly, but I really think 1UP is in a lot of trouble. People are losing trust in them. And that's exactly how I started the stream, is how there's a shift in the community, and I'm seeing it in the fans where they're losing interest, and interest is fading in Arcade 1UP right now. There's not a lot of enthusiasm with them, and it's because of the multiple mistakes that they've made, and they're just lackluster, performance in these cabinets. Bobby Broadway said, make another song. Oh, he's talking about Zohar making another song. And Papa Brad's Gaming says Street Fighter, Marvel 1, and KR not too bad. Those are all three really good cabinets for an online experience. KI is very good, definitely. Bozo Calvin Jr., he said, you have 8 and I have 13 cabinets, Papa Brad, and all I can say is help, laughing out loud. Endangered Dog has joined us. Sup, Biggie? Good to see you, Endangered Dog. Glad you made it. And Ritual Dello, he said, I had 6 1UPs down to 3 all modded. And Bozo's talking about Qbert. We definitely need to see Qbert. This has been talked about for several years now, and this is a perfect opportunity. It's a perfect time for them to utilize a license they already have. Do it right. Even if it's just one game, just do it right. And I think people will be excited about it, and it'll get the momentum going back again for Arcade 1UP and get them into a good position going back into a new year in 2024. And these are easy ways that they can do that with these 80s titles. And John G, he says, agree on trust with Arcade 1UP. And GG says, open ice hockey has to be open ice hockey, BiggggyD. That would be a really good one. I've been playing that one on my ALU. They do have, I think, the ability to do that license if they want. They would probably still have to do some negotiating with the NHL to make that happen. And those NHL licenses are probably similar to the NBA. They're not always easy. You got players' rights and things like that that come into play that can make it more difficult. Carl O suggested a Mr. Do cabinet. Absolutely, Mr. Do would be up there with any of these others. These are just my predictions, my thoughts on what I think could be coming. But in reality, we really don't know. We're just going to throw our ideas out there and hope that they make them. And Bobby Broadway says, 1UP won't get nothing from me unless they do a pro model size stuff to match the full size cabinets. And I'm right there with you, Bobby. Ever since I got my ALU, which is a much bigger cabinet, my At Games Legends Ultimate, much bigger, much wider. I even got a 5-inch riser on it now. It's huge. You know, it makes my, these, what we call like the shark fin arcade 1UPs look tiny now. And even my NBA Jam, I don't quite enjoy playing it as much anymore. After having the ALU, I've been spoiled. Now I want that NBA Jam XL. I want a bigger cabinet. Bigger designs, XLs, Pros. That's what we need to see towards the end of this year and early next year. And I think that's common. You know, many people out there want the bigger cabinet. And Mickey says, aside from content creators who are pre-ordering 1UPs anymore, yeah, there's who knows how many are pre-ordering. We really don't know outside of our community how many people are. You know, and they are on Best Buy, which gives them more exposure to, you know, not your typical arcade 1UP fans. So they may be getting a lot of pre-orders. It'd be nice to get some information on that and some data. Papa Brad said they just hate Mortal Kombat. It should be criminal the way they handled that title. It definitely is. In MK4, that's why there's that movement. And I think that the Mortal Kombat 4 cabinet would be a perfect Pro Series cabinet for their next Pro Series. And Zohar, he said, Biggie, be patient with Tears of the Kingdom. It gets better and better and more intense. It's bigger than Breath of the Wild, way more powers, and you can build a boat and a plane. It's so insane. I'm glad you brought that up, Zohar. I've been playing it nonstop. The only time I've stopped is if I have to work or I'm creating, you know, this live stream tonight in my preparation for the live stream. But otherwise, I've been playing that game nonstop, and it is an amazing game. So much more advanced than the Breath of the Wild. Even though it looks like the Breath of the Wild, it picks up where that game left off. There is so much more you can do. There's a lot of building within the game. It's a very creative game in which ways you can build boats and vehicles and all this different stuff. And not everyone's stuff looks the same. Everyone can kind of do what they want. It's an amazing game. Mickey, I think they just despise console fanboy. And I'm not sure what he was referring to on that. Oh, on the MK. Yeah, that would make some sense. It seems like that sometimes. And then Zohar says, thanks, Brad. Yes, they isn't deserve the MK license. Or I think he's saying they don't deserve the MK license. It's insulting how they treat such a fan base or a franchise. I hope they lose the license and iiRcade gets it. And that would be hard, I think, for them to lose that license. I think Arcade 1UP has a really good relationship with Midway. And that is one license I don't think they're going to be losing. But it would be nice. I mean, you know, iiRcade's sitting and waiting for a very good fighting game. And they need a back end, though. They need a lobby system. And they need a better online experience, I think, to take on some big fighting games like that. Otherwise, you're not going to get that full experience. But we'll see what happens. I think Virtua Fighter is probably a better bet. Mickey said they've proven they cannot make the XL or Pros. They did screw up the XLs with those screens. They've since corrected that. They have sourced the 19-inch BOE for the Killer Instinct Pro. So maybe the next set of XLs that they make will be great, because really all they missed was the screen. Everything else was really good on the NBA Jam XL. Was that the only one? No, they had the Golden TXL, and that screen was bad as well, but everything else was great on it. And then the Pro, we had a lot of gripes about the Pro with the controls, but those are easy fixes, I think. They can just spend a little more money on the sticks and the buttons, and that should do it. And we should get a good Pro series next time. John G says, agree on the multi-cades. It's hard to go back to the 1UPs with only one or two good games after getting an ALU or an iiRcade. And that's so true. I mean, limitless amount of enjoyment I've been getting with my At games with the CoinOps build on there. Just limitless entertainment. Andrew's Clay Creations and More. I'm glad you've joined us, Andrew. He says, I haven't bought an arcade 1UP cab since Big Blue. on the Red Cross sale. I know everyone got an amazing deal. I think you guys paid $150 if I was right for those. I wish I had made that live stream so I could have got one. And I am not against buying another one. They just haven't come out with anything that wasn't full of issues. So there, you're hearing the same kind of complaint I've been giving, you know, with all these issues. Not only do I not want it, I don't want to reward Arcade One Up by going out day one and spending full price for something, because that's only going to encourage them to create lackluster, poor stuff. You know, why would I want to encourage them to continue to do that? The only way you can make it better or convince them to do better is to not spend any money with Arcade One Up. That's what's going to convince them to do better. Bozo Calvin said they need to bring out Narc, Smash TV, and Total Carnage and War of Gods. They are from Midway. I haven't heard of War of Gods. I have played Smash TV. I have not yet played Narc, but I've seen it. It's very similar to Smash TV. But I did get a chance to play Total Carnage this week, and I am very happy with Total Carnage. That is a very fun game. I even noticed some of the sounds are the same sounds you get in NBA Jam, and how they kind of laid it out and did it. It's similar to NBA Jam in some ways. It's very similar to Smash TV, and the gameplay and the mechanics of the gameplay are very similar, but it's a ton of fun. I've already played Total Carnage, and I quartered up multiple times, and I've done that twice in the last week. I may even hop on it again tonight. Total Carnage would be an amazing Arcade One Up cabinet release, and get Smash TV, Total Carnage, and Robotron all on the same cabinet. That would be like the ultimate cabinet for the end of the year. And John G said, I would buy Spy Hunter or Paperboy with the real controls. Paperboy would be a hard one to do, but if they could get those controls right, that would be a winner right there. And Spy Hunter, I don't have a lot of experience with Spy Hunter. I've seen it in the arcades, but I've never actually given it a shot. Maybe I need to give it a chance. And Andrew's Clay Creations and more. He said, I don't want trash Arcade One Up because I have my first Arcade One Up video coming up on my channel next month. So he's going to get an Arcade One Up review or video out there. So you guys make sure to tune in for that when that comes. And Mickey Yoon, he said, Papa Brad, I've been holding out. I think they have something coming out up their sleeve. And Mickey said, I promise I'll buy an iiRcade. He hasn't bought one yet. Well, you can get one for $2.99 if you want to get a good deal right now. And Thor, I want a quarter arcade or a replicade of a 2-player Smash TV. I think they are trying to crowd around a tiny machine with the misses would be a lot of fun. I can't get into those miniature or tiny arcades, Thor. But I haven't really given those a shot. I've not bought one yet. I did mention on Super Game Room Dudes on Friday, and even P-Dubs discussed it and brought up a video, but you can plug those things into your ALU. And if you could make the aspect ratio right, that would be fun, I think, to have the Replicade, but be able to plug it in, or New Wave Toys, I'm sorry. You could plug that one into the ALU and play it there and get, instead of, getting the ROM or whatever, you actually spend the money, you give credit to the developer, you give credit to the company that made it so they can continue that and keep them coming. Darren Kane said, when I originally interviewed with Arcade One Up in early 2020, so he interviewed with them. That's pretty incredible. Some of the games I named I want to see and not yet released were Robotron, Smash TV, and Total Carnage. Again, yeah, that would just be the ultimate cabinet if we could get those 3 games on there. And it would be a ton of fun. And it would be a winner. It would sell. So let's bring up @Games. So I wanted to discuss a little bit about @Games because I had some news on it. And I've kind of been giving you guys an insight to my gaming life outside of my live streams and my videos I create, just like what I'm doing on my free time when I play these machines. And I had showed you guys my cracked marquee, and it looks just like you're seeing here, upper left-hand corner. I have Brooklyn sending me a replacement that he has just on hand that he's not going to use. And so I had opened a ticket with @Games. And I had showed this response last week. So I'll bring it back up here again if you guys didn't get to see the live stream last week. And basically I'd bought through VIP Outlet on eBay, and they're not a preferred or authorized retailer. So they don't offer free parts. Even though it's within warranty, they don't give you the free parts. You have to pay for them. So they suggested, why don't you contact VIP Outlet? And I was kind of reluctant to do that because it's an eBay seller, and sometimes those people are hard to deal with or hard to get a hold of. But in fact, VIP Outlet was not at all. They responded to me as pretty much immediately as soon as I had created the ticket or the return with them. I had showed my sticky note last week to you guys on live stream where I had a sticky note made that I needed to contact them about this, and I did right after that. And this was their response. They didn't have the part in stock. So what they did is they refunded me money. So now after taxes, after everything, I only paid $274.74. So I got a really good deal, and I can use that extra money that I saved to pay Brooklyn for the shipping. But this is what the refund looks like. If you guys deal with VIP Outlet, they're real quick to respond, and they're real quick to try to find a solution. They offered me two solutions. One was to send them back the Games Legends Ultimate, the entire thing, and they would refund me my entire amount. But then I'd have to put it back in the box, but they were going to send me a label to ship it back for free. And I know that would be a fortune to send back to them. So the fact that they're covering the cost of shipping to ship it back to them just over a small little crack on the marquee, I thought was really good of them, and just a quality way of handling it. I felt more in line with what you would see with like major retailers. So they are a trustworthy company in my experience, and sometimes you have to kind of go out on a limb to deal with some of these eBay sellers. But with them, I had a really good experience. Now, the second option was they were like, well, we can just offer you a partial refund. Would you like to do that? And I was like, sure, how much? And they're like, well, we can refund you $45. And I thought that was pretty nice. I thought that was a good amount. $45, that's a decent amount of savings off of a $300 cabinet. And that's also money I could have used to go back to @Games and purchase the marquee directly through them. In fact, I may have even had some money left over. So I thought it was very fair how they handled it, and I was very happy with the outcome. So if you guys are looking at VIP Outlet on eBay, every now and then they'll have the @Games Legends Ultimate for $2.99. I also noticed they have the @Games Legends Pinball for $4.99 right now in stock. And I think we may see those very soon at $3.99, maybe less. And I got it bookmarked, and I'm just checking every day, because as soon as that price drops, I'll probably go out and get the Legends Pinball, because my arcade went up. Attack from Mars Pinball doesn't work, and they don't have the part I need to fix it. So I'm kind of having pinball withdrawals, and I'm already kind of planning out that I'm going to probably buy a Legends Pinball when I see an incredible deal on it through this company, VIP Outlet on eBay, if you guys want to check them out. Let's see here what everyone has to say. Carlo says, if Brooklyn doesn't mail you the marquee soon, he'll send me his. He's got 3 of them. Okay, I may have to come to you, Carl, for that. I have a contact form in the upper right-hand corner of my YouTube page. Use that, send me your number, or send me your Facebook account, whatever way you want me to get a hold of you, because I'll use you as a backup, because I know Brooklyn's a very busy person. I know he probably wants to help, but it may not be within the means or time that he has available to help me, so I may go to you for that. But we'll see. But it'll be nice to have a backup. And Carl's saying it's a $3 piece of plexi. It really is. It's just a cheap piece of plexi that goes over the marquee. Very simple to screw off and get off. Not a huge deal. Thor said T-minus 12 hours to Retromania Wrestling delivered to the Thorcade. So that's really good news, Thor. I'm glad you got one. I've seen a ton of people in the community getting these iiRcade Retromanias. I'm really happy about that. Everyone's getting a really good deal. It's growing the iiRcade community. And I saw Toxin. I wanted to go back to his chat. He has a really good review. Go check his iiRcade review out. It'll give you an insight to an Arcade 1-Up fan and what he thought of the iiRcade. He did a really good job on that review, and I liked it. And Thor is asking about this ALP for $4.99. He needs it for $4.99. So go to eBay, search the AtGames Legends Ultimate, and look for VIP Outlet. Sold by VIP Outlet. It's $4.99 right now if you want to go out and get it. I'm going to hold out a little bit. I'm going to risk it selling out. Hopefully I get it for $3.99. Mickey says, I'm getting a lot of hate from the community for calling out Arcade 1-Up. Do you guys think I'm being overly critical of the company, or their recent shady antics warranted of some criticism? I think you just do what you feel, Mickey. That's what I do. I just do what I feel at that moment. Sometimes I get a little close to the line. There may have been even opportunities or times where I had crossed the line, but I just want to give people my true feelings. And I think you should too. And just do it in a respectful way. As long as you're respectful, it really doesn't matter what you feel or what you're saying. Even if it's a negative comment and it's negative to something that they really like, if you do it in a respectful way, I think that goes a long way, and that's all we really need to focus on. And John G says warranted. So he's commenting on Mickey's comment there, just saying it's warranted. Yeah, definitely. You know, if you see something, call it out. That's the only way Arcade 1-Up's going to improve. That's the only way they're going to get any better. And Andrew's Clay Creations and more. I think you are good, Mickey. So another comment on the same way I feel. Just do what you feel. Bozo Calvin Jr. here had a comment about AtGames. He said his AtGames failed for me. I had a ticket months ago and had a dent on my monitor from FedEx from where they sent it. And he had sent in a video. They never helped him at all, and he had to pay through PayPal once AtGames failed and got a full refund. So he had a poor experience with the AtGames customer service. I've heard similar things, and that's why I didn't run out and spend full money or the full amount for an AtGames Legends Ultimate, because I've been hearing similar experiences as yours, Bozo. I got lucky. Mine came in pretty good shape. It wasn't anything wrong with it except for the top left corner of that marquee. So I was fortunate, and everything's been working. So I think hopefully it should continue to. But I was prepared for something, you know, falling through and end up having to deal with the return and all that. Thor said, whenever you criticize something people have spent hard-earned money on, you're bound to get some pushback, even when you're right. And that's true. Some people are so invested in what they've purchased, even if they don't like it and they don't express that they don't like it. And even if you're right, they're still going to tell you you're wrong, because that's how invested they are in what they have. So just expect that. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, and just kind of closing out the show, I've got a few closing thoughts for the show tonight. But the first one I wanted to talk about that I had a slide prepared for was Golden Tee 3D. I've been playing it a ton on my AtGames Legends Ultimate. I play about 18 holes every night, and I've been getting better and better each day that I play it. This was one game that I used to play a lot in the bars in my early 20s. I would play Golden Tee all the time. I'd go meet up with my buddies. We'd drink beers and just play Golden Tee for hours. And it'd get really competitive. So now that I've got it on my AtGames, I just love playing this game and just getting better at it. And I have a lot of FOMO for the real Golden Tee, the real thing, which is basically just like a platform that goes in front of a big screen TV, but it's thousands of dollars. And I don't have room for it right now, but I think definitely a Golden Tee is in my future. Maybe an Arcade 1-Up XL Golden Tee if they can get it right. But I do love this game. I've been playing it a ton, and I wanted to show you guys my scorecard from last night, because I've just gotten so much better, and I ended up getting first place in this 18 holes of golf. I beat the computer and got first place. So I just wanted to show off this score. I don't know if anyone else out there plays this game, but if you do, and you guys are getting better scores than I did, let me know. Or if you think this is an excellent score, better than anything you've gotten, let me know. But I was, let's see, we added up. I was +1 at the end of 9 holes. I was +8 at the end of 18. And the reason why is I continue to play this Cactus Canyon. So I'm just focusing on one golf course because I've noticed once you learn the golf course, that's where the good scores come in, because you know where to hit the ball. Just like you would on a real golf course, you start to learn it and you start to master it. And that's what I'm trying to do, is master Cactus Canyon. And I love Cactus Canyon because I live in Arizona and it looks just like, you know, the golf courses around me. So I started off with this one, and a lot of fun though. Let's see here. Ritual Della says, my FedEx guy placed my ALU down like it was an eggshell. I'm right with my drivers. Make sure to tip them during the holidays. They appreciate it. And those At Games Legends are heavy too, really heavy. So if they're handling it with care and it shows up in good shape, that means they went a long way and put a lot of effort in getting it to your doorway in good shape, because those things are heavy. Carla said, nice BiggggyD. Golden Tee is so much fun, and I want a pedestal too. Definitely do. I know Kev Gret and Rexer have one, and they have a blast. I would love to get in and play with them. I just don't have $3,000-$4,000 to spend right now, of course. Mickey, was the arcade Golden Tee an arcade or a table with the TV? Because I've seen Kev Gret's and it's not an arcade. No, I'm playing it on the At Games Legends Ultimate, which isn't the best, because even yesterday I'll hit that ball and it'll hit my hand on the screen, and I do not want to crack that screen or that overlay. So I'm even more careful now. But I would love to get the pedestal or the table you put in front of the TV, because then you could actually hit it like, you know, real hard and actually bring your hand up like you're supposed to, without the fear of breaking anything. It's not ideal on that Games Legends Ultimate, but it does the job, especially if you're careful. And he's talking to Mickey Yoon. Golden Tee has dozens of different forms and versions, since it's like Big Buck Hunter. Yeah, there's so many out there. This game's been around since the late 90s. So you could get some of those older cabinets that look more like your traditional arcade cabinet, or the new ones, the modern ones, are more of a pedestal that just goes in front of a TV. You actually purchase your own TV. And then, so a couple other closing thoughts I wanted to kind of finish out the stream with was, so Rexer did a poll last night. And I was watching Rexer's stream last night, and there were like 130, 140 people in that stream. So he's getting onto the level of Michael B, P-Dubs, Console Kits, 19K Fox. His channel has a lot of interest right now. And that's probably because of all the mistakes that Arcade 1-Up has been making on their cabinets. And there's more people being drawn to his channel because it's a release. It's an area, it's a safe place to comment and not get ridiculed or get banned. So you're seeing more and more people watching it now. But he ran a poll last night, and this poll got a ton of votes. So it was a pretty good gauge of the community. And it was Super Street Fighter 2. Which cabinet would you most prefer to play this game on? And he gave you the option of At Games, iiRcade, or Arcade 1-Up. And my thought was, if I had the option of playing it on any three of these, I would want to play it on this cabinet right here. And the reason why is because the way the buttons are laid out, and I do have a Raspberry Pi in there, makes it a little bit better. But I just like playing it on this Arcade 1-Up. That's just my opinion. I enjoy it. I think I also upgraded the buttons as well. That makes it a little bit better. Now, and I was surprised because I thought I would be the minority. I thought whatever I voted on, which was Arcade 1-Up, would have, 5%, 10% of the vote. But I was surprised at how many others voted the same as me. So it was 38% At Games, 24% iiRcade, and 38% Arcade 1-Up. So Arcade 1-Up and At Games were both at 38%. They were tied. And the reason that I don't like playing it on the At Games, I have the ability to play it on there, but the spinners and the trackball get in the way. That's the only reason I would not want to play it on an At Games. So I don't know if those 38% that voted for At Games can enjoy it and can work around those controls, but I feel like a fighting game especially shouldn't have a spinner. It shouldn't have a trackball anywhere on the game deck. That's just my personal opinion. But it was interesting to see that there were many others out there that felt the same as me, in that on a Arcade 1Up channel where, you know, there's a lot of negative things spoken about Arcade 1Up on that channel, so many people voting for it. I think it was kind of a shock to Rexer when he saw that. I thought he thought that most people were going to vote other ways. Let's see here. Bozo says, need to challenge me on Donkey Kong. I've been playing a little bit of Donkey Kong. It's a hard game, but I am getting better. But my scores are still not that great. I think the most I've gotten is like 2,000 points or 2,500 points. And I'm just trying to get over that 7,000. The top score on my arcade is 7,000. I'd like to get above that. Mickey Yoon said, I mean, At Games has the biggest screen. They do have the biggest screen, the best looking screen. But that game deck, those spinners and that trackball, even though I really enjoy those controls, when I play a fighting game, I don't want them on there. And I had asked Glen, how easy is it for me to put this game deck back in the iiRcade after I put yours in? He said it's very easy to swap it and put that back in, because if iiRcade gets Virtual Fighter or they get another really good fighting game, I'm going to want to take that trackball and spinner game panel off and put this one back on. I'm just waiting for a really good fighting game, because these controls that I have on my iiRcade are excellent and they would perform really well with a fighting game. Thor said, there's something special about playing a game on a machine designed for it, as long as they didn't cut too many corners. And that's true. I play the Marvel fighting games and I play the Street Fighter games on this Arcade 1Up, and they perform very well. And I think because this cabinet, it was just designed for fighting games. Carlos said, yeah, I don't understand how you can compare an iiRcade controls and screen and cabinet sturdiest to an Arcade 1Up. And that's true. And I mean, these shark fin Arcade 1Ups, they do shake a little bit, you know, just a little bit, not bad. But you get the 4-player game deck, my NBA Jam, it shakes a ton. I mean, I'm very unhappy with how much the 4-player shark fin, it's just too top heavy and it shakes a lot. But these aren't too bad. The iiRcade's very sturdy, and the At Games is the most sturdy of all of them, all of mine. Mickey says, I'm so lost as to why everyone pokes fun at you. Did you piss them off somehow? And I'm not quite sure. I did watch some of no, it wasn't UAG. I'm sorry. There was some shorts made of me this week, as well as on UAJ's live stream. That's what it was. They were speaking about me, basically just saying I don't get a lot of respect from the large, like extremely large content creators in this space. We all know who those people are. And I'm not quite sure why I don't get the respect. I always try to put in as much effort as I can to prepare these streams. I always try to make sure the audience and the people that watch have a voice and they're able to be heard. I always try to be respectful, even when I disagree with some of these people. I always try to be respectful. Yeah, I can't answer that. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm still new. You know, I just started my channel. What was it? September of last year. So I haven't been doing this very long, not even a year yet. And a lot of these guys have been doing this for several years. So maybe it just takes some time. You know, you gotta kind of prove yourself, I think is what it is. And I'm in that proving stage right now still. And that may be a long period. Who knows? Zohar said, Biggie, YouTube is fun. Brush it off. I make fun of myself. I make fun of everyone. Just have fun and brush it off. Yeah, I don't let it bother me. As soon as I turn this camera off, I go back to my real life. None of this stuff bothers me. And if it takes years for me to get into this circle of content creators, then it takes years. I'm not going anywhere. I'll continue to still put out the best product, the best entertainment that I can, because I know you guys enjoy it, and that's what really matters. Now, the last closing thought I had here, sticky note on Tears of the Kingdom. So I've been playing it a ton, and I know Zohar had mentioned it earlier. So I said a lot of what I was going to say when I had mentioned that. But it is a really cool game. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's just one of those comfort games where you can sit down and it's just a comforting game. The music is comforting. The gameplay is fun. It's addicting. It's creative. I'm a very creative person. So I'm really enjoying it. And they've made a lot of improvements to what you're doing. It's not just a second Breath of the Wild. It's a completely new game. Carries over from the last game, but completely new. And a lot of the things they did well in Breath of the Wild, they've continued that on with this game and then just adding to it. So if you guys haven't bought it yet, I definitely encourage you to get it if you have a Nintendo Switch, because it is what we call a AAA game. There were 6 years of development behind this game, so it's worth every penny. But that's what I've been doing, and that's probably why I didn't have a video out this week, is I've just been enjoying that. I may do that again. I even contemplating not having a stream tonight so I could play the game more. But I knew you guys wanted something to watch. I knew 19K Fox was off tonight, so I wanted everyone to have another place to come to chat home arcades and be a part of the community. And it was nice to see Console Kits back on tonight. I enjoyed his stream. And even with him having little prepared for tonight, his stream was enjoyable and a lot of fun to watch. And we got a real insight to his home life and his life outside of YouTube, which was really cool. So I'll read a few other comments here to close out this stream. And Toxin says here, he goes, there's times where I get a little bored running around the open world, but it's great. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. I use that run button a lot, and I've gotten really good at where I'll run till it's almost exhausted and then I'll let go. And that speeds it up a little bit. But I know what you're saying. And I'm just happy that the music's good during that time, so you're not completely bored. You're at least hearing something fun. You're seeing something fun while you're moving around that huge open world. So that was another thing I wanted to point out to you guys or mention is I've already completed the first 3 shrines. So you're in that open area at the beginning up in the sky, and you have your first 3 shrines to open that big gate. And I'm about to open that big gate. So I'm about to go into whatever's next. Some of you guys might already be past that point. I'm sure you guys are. I take my time. I go and get a lot of the mushrooms and the food, and I create a lot of meals, and I just build up all that stuff just to make the game easier for me, because I know later on those enemies are going to be pretty hard, and I want to have as much of the food, and there's like, the cold protection and the speed, the additional speed, and I want to get those recipes down. So I'm spending a lot of time with that stuff. If you guys are playing it, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. Zohar said, dude, it's so different. I can't even begin to tell you. Yeah, I would like to stream some Tears of the Kingdom for you guys, but I'm so locked into this game. I don't want to take anything away from it and be distracted. So I probably won't stream any of it until I've beaten it. Ritual Dello, Biggie, just be yourself. That's a good comment. I appreciate that, Ritual Dello. Papa Brad's Gaming says the Zelda music is excellent to sleep to. It definitely could be very good sleep music. And Andy's Game Room says, yeah, Biggie, you're a good dude. Just do you. You're fine no matter where the negativity comes from. It just makes me roll my eyes. And Zohar's got a couple of comments here on Zelda. The world is ridiculously huge. The sky levels are gigantic. Bosses are insane. Powers are all new. And then he says, dude, wait until you fight that dragon boss in the sky. You're going to be so high. I saw the dragon boss, so I'm running towards the gate, and I see the dragon boss up in the sky flying around. I guess that's what you're referring to. I had not seen that dragon until I beat all 3 shrines right before this live stream. And Mickey, Biggie, you need to use suntan more. You're red as hell, man. That must be the camera. But I do walk my dog, and we're already in the hundreds, and I haven't been putting sunscreen on my face, so I may be a little bit red. And I do get out and I hike a lot and I paddleboard, so I typically will use sunscreen on the face when I do those things. And Andy's Game Room, Zohar's making me want to switch. So you guys have a good rest of the night, guys. And I will see everyone hopefully in a video this week or live stream next Sunday. It's going to be every Sunday at 7:15 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. or 10:15 p.m. Eastern every Sunday. So I hope with the, just being consistent, doing it the same day, same time every week. We get more and more people watching, more and more people tuning in. But everyone that's joined me tonight, I really appreciate it. I've had a good time. And definitely tune in to Michael B's live stream tomorrow night. We're going to have Brooklyn from iiRcade, as well as Papa Brad. And I think B-Kongs from Kongs R Us is going to be on there as well. And I think I heard, if I remember right, 19K Fox. So that's going to be a really cool stream. You're going to have two really heavy Arcade 1-Up guys, two really heavy iiRcade guys, and then you're going to have Michael B as like your mediator or your host, kind of just making the show progress. But I think Michael B's probably already got questioning lined up. He wants to address concerns within the iiRcade community. He wants to get these guys together to debate and discuss these subjects. So I think it'll be a really interesting stream tomorrow night on Michael B's channel. So definitely tune in, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Bye-bye.